If your disc brakes are making a horrific noise like this, or like this, chances are they're contaminated, not only causing that horrific noise, but also reducing their performance. Very annoying, yes, but thankfully an easy fix. All you are going to need is a clean cloth, a selection of hex or Allen keys, some abrasive paper, and finally some disc brake cleaner or isopropyl alcohol. First step of the process is to remove the wheel from the offending brake that's causing your noise. This will make access to the brake pads and caliper much simpler. You can remove the brake pads with the wheel still in place, but it's easier to do it like this. Once you've got access to your caliper, we can work on removing the brake pads out of the caliper. To do that, lift this little pin up and take the retaining pin out from the caliper. With the brake pads removed, you can see inside the caliper where you can then visually assess to see if there's any leaking hydraulic fluid from the piston seals. If you can see oil leaking out of there, probably going to be a case where the caliper is going to have the piston seals replaced or the caliper replaced itself, which is a far bigger job and something for a separate video. Next, take your clean cloth and your isopropyl alcohol or disc brake cleaner, spray inside the caliper and then give everything a clean up to make sure it's nice and clean, ready to have everything refitted back in afterwards. Next, we're going to focus onto the disc brake rotor. Here we're going to take our clean cloth, spray some of our isopropyl alcohol onto a section of clean cloth and thoroughly wipe this braking surface on both sides of the disc brake rotor. This is to make sure it's clean of any contaminants, and then after that we're going to take our abrasive paper and lightly scuff up the surface before cleaning it once more. If you happen to have a Park Tools Wheel Buddy WH1 or a Park Tools Truing stand, well, you can put your wheel in there to rotate around and make life ever so slightly easier. Once you have cleaned up your brake rotor, roughed up the surface ever so slightly with your abrasive paper, and then cleaned it up once more, that's pretty much it, done with the brake rotor for now, and it's on to the most important part, the brake pads. Now, before we start doing anything to the brake pads, it's worth double checking that there is a suitable amount of friction material left on them. Now, the friction material is this section, which is applied and bonded onto the main backing plate of the brake pad. This material here, you want to have at least 0.5 worth of millimeter of friction material left here. Any less than that, well, chances are it's going to be time to replace your brake pads fairly soon. Now, the brake pad friction material here can be absorbent. So that means if you have contaminated it with some lubricants, some degreasers, some grease, or some shiny spray that can make your paint look nice, it may well have soaked into that friction material. So what we need to do now is spray the brake pad with our disc brake cleaner or isopropyl alcohol, take our abrasive paper, put that on a flat surface, hold our brake pad flat down as evenly as possible, and then go in a circular motion to clean that horrible, gross top surface off and have something that's nice and clean, ready to go back onto the bike. You're going to want to do about 30 seconds worth of gently rubbing that top surface off for each brake pad. Then once you've cleaned it up, disc brake cleaner again, clean section of cloth, and you've got a pair of brake pads ready to assemble back onto your bike. So you can refit them the way that we removed them, put the retaining pin back in place, being careful not to over tighten it, put the little clip back onto the end, put our wheel back into the bike. With everything reinstalled back on the bike, good practice is to check the brake lever travel, make sure the brake is working effectively, and that should be everything done, good to go. Head outside and you're going to find out fairly soon on whether all of your hard work has actually fixed your squealing brakes. Chances are, I'm going to say you should be good to go. If that hasn't worked and you're still finding that your brake is noisy, unfortunately, it means that the contaminant which is causing the noise has soaked deep into that friction material, and chances are you're going to have to replace the brake pads with new. Thankfully though, in the majority of cases, the disc brake rotor itself should clean up and be good to go again. Right, with any luck, that should have helped you out and quietened your brake down. The front one of this bike was a little bit noisy, so when I ride home, we'll find out if that's done the trick. And if you have any helpful tips or tricks of your own to help quiet down some noisy disc brakes, please do let us all know in the comments section down below and share your advice with our GCN Tech community. And of course, if you haven't subscribed to GCN Tech already, please do, because it really helps support our channel. Right, I'm out of here. See ya.